Very excited and honored. The guy started when he was 16, getting on the radio with Dr. Demento. Please welcome Weird Al Yankovic. What's up? So where do we start? Like, it's my therapy. I was telling him in the back, just for a second, I was like, I've been a Weird Al fan for a long time. I have a 19-year-old and a 15-year-old. And I would always play, the songs, and they'd be like, really? What is that? And then when you did the Star Wars parody, I was Cool Band at that point. So that was a neat thing. So we got questions, so you guys can, of course, ask questions to Weird Al. We got a microphone back there because I don't want to hog that from you guys, because you guys are the ones we want to have here. But once again, thank you for coming to Huntsville, Alabama.
Of course.
All right, first question.
Hello, Al.
Hey,
I saw you live some years ago.
you're the one. Well, nice to meet you.
I saw you some years ago, 1984, 1985, when you released that song Yoda. And I was so impressed by that. And then years later, you made another one about episode 1. But Star Trek fans have been asking for years, when are we gonna get Weird Al love?
Yeah. When I put out The Saga Begins, I made the joke that I put out a Star Wars song every 20 years like clockwork. But that 20 years is now come and gone. And the reason I haven't done another Star Wars song is because I've already got 2 very popular Star Wars songs in my oeuvre. And I use them for my encore, usually for the live shows. And if I did another Star Wars song, if I had like 3 Star Wars songs that I had to play in concert, it would kind of become the Star Wars show, So
You
it's
misunderstood, Al, you misunderstood me. I said Star Trek.
I'm sorry, what? You got me.
Oh, no.
But yeah, no, the Star Trek songs are coming, sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Hello. Hi. Mr. Yankovic, you have had an amazing career. Every so far away. Oh, hi. Am I in the right planet? You've had almost 50 years in the music industry. I'm very old. You have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You have 2 biopics, one discussing your film career and one discussing your time fighting the Colombian drug cartel. You have starred in many movies. You have done voiceover work for years. You have been entertaining the people of this country and this world for decades. Thank you. The question is very simply this. When does the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame gets off its ass and give you your fun?
Yeah!
I'm not going to hold my breath on that one, but I appreciate all the support over all the years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say welcome to Huntsville.
Thank you.
Happy to have you. And first of all, I'd like to say love Jewish cheese sandwich. How'd you get that role? And second of all, what's it like being a public figure? Do you ever interact with other celebrities often, or how do you stay grounded?
Oh, well, let's see. First part, I guess they just My Little Pony people just approached me and said, "Do you want to do this?" And I said, "Of course, sure." I'm not sure how the request came through. I know that people before I got the gig, a lot of people were making My Little Pony, what are they called, AMVs, the music videos that are using clips from the show. And also Bill Henderson, who is an old friend of mine. In fact, she was on the road with us on the 1985 tour. Wound up doing a lot of the music for My Little Pony. So I'm not exactly sure how the request came through, but they asked, and I was thrilled to do it. I had a great time, and I've met many people in the fan base, and It was just something that I really enjoyed doing. And yeah, and I do meet other celebrities a lot, obviously. I mean, at various parties and award shows and things like that. In places like this, I get to, say hi to, other celebs. And it's a fun thing. It's kind of weird for me because I started out as a real outsider, like somebody, this like annoying jerk from LA that made fun of all these celebrities. And then I wound up like being one of those annoying celebrities. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, I'm Connor Parker, and my family are actually missionaries for the Church of Christ, Parkers in the Pacific. And I've heard that you're also a member of the Church of Christ. And I was wondering, how does your faith impact your music?
I don't know if it's faith related, but I don't have any profanity. My son's nothing harsh profanity. I try to keep it family friendly. It's not like I'm the Wiggles or Raffy. It's got a little bit of everyone. But it's under the general family friendly umbrella. So, and again, I don't know if that's a direct correlation. That's just the way I was brought up. Thank you.
I also have a missionary packet here for my family, and I was wondering if I would be able to deliver that to you.
Yeah, I'll be at the table. You can just drop it by whenever.
Awesome, thank you.
All right. Hello.
Hello, I'm Josh Turner, been a longtime fan ever since I heard Amish Paradise changed my life. And my dad's been a longtime fan too. I just wanted to know, as someone who holds and who's helped. Jesus, things as someone who's helped shape my sense of humor.
We can hear you fine.
As someone who's helped shape my sense of humor, what helped shape yours, and how did you get so funny?
Well, I don't know how I'm not funny, but the people that I would credit for shaping my sense of humor, Dr. Demento on the show, obviously, Mad Magazine, SCTV, Saturday Night Live, Monty Python, people like that. Yeah, those would be like the main people. Like early on, like when I was a teenager, those people kind of rolled to my mind.
That's what's good about your biopic. What's it like being a zombie?
I can get used to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Wesley, currently doing a parody of Al.
Very nice.
Thank you. So we all know that you were tragically murdered back in 1985.
Yeah.
Accepted your award from the Grammys that you very much deserve. But yet you're here today. And so I just kind of wanted to ask, are you a robot? Are you a clone? Are you a body double? Or are you finally given permission to parody Prince to be a hologram?
Yeah. I can't really answer that. All I can say is that it will all be explained in the sequel.
May I ask my question from here?
Sorry?
I said, may I ask my question?
Yes, of course.
Let her go first.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't know somebody was there.
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask how you picked Daniel Radcliffe to play you in your biopic.
We asked him. He was, I thought of Daniel Radcliffe because I saw him on a British talk show in 2010, the Graham Norton show, and he performed the Elements song by Tom Lehrer, which is like a very difficult song. He had it memorized. It's like all the elements in the periodic table, set to music. And I saw him doing that, and everybody else in the studio was looking at him like he's crazy. And I thought, oh, this is my kind of guy. It's like an alpha nerd. I would get along really well with him. So when it came time to cast the movie, he was sort of the first person that I thought of. And I was a fan of his, and particularly his post-Harry Potter work, because I like Harry Potter, but everything he's done since then showed that he's willing to take chances. He's got a sense of humor, and he's kind of just enjoys doing whatever he feels like doing. And I thought, well, maybe he'll like doing this, and he did.
Well, he done a great job. Phenomenal.
He did, yeah. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Emma. My question is, would you ever consider doing more episodes of the Weird Al Show, or would you do maybe another TV show?
It's not really up to me. I mean, I can't just arbitrarily say, I think I'm going to do more episodes of the Weird Al Show. I don't know that I would do anything exactly like that. That was sort of something that was done for CBS in the late 90s, and it was sort of like a product of its era, and it's something specifically mandated by the FCC that it had to be like educational programming, which I'm not sure how educational it was, but I guess we kind of got under the wire. Yeah, I mean, I would love to do more TV. I'd love to do more children's programming. I'm open to it all, but it's always a miracle when anything ever gets made. So, you know, again, I wouldn't hold my breath, but you never know.
One last thing. Somebody gave this to me online, and I don't know who did it. But they asked if I could give it to you.
I couldn't really hear that, but if you're trying to give me something to get you can come to the table anytime this weekend, and I'll be happy to accept it.
Alright, so it's to my understanding that, sorry, when you were writing The Saga Begins, that the movie hadn't came out yet, and you weren't able to see it, and you just didn't know what was gonna happen. And it was like 98% accurate, is what I'm hearing?
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't like I didn't, I mean, I was basing the entire song on internet spoilers and rumors, so there are several. I don't know how they got this information, I don't know if they're going through George Lucas's garbage can at night or what, but there are several websites, some semi-official and some just like dark internet, I don't know what all, but they had different accounts of the storyline of the first movie. And I kind of pieced it together and kind of figured out the basic plot and wrote the song based on that. And I didn't, and then we recorded it, but we didn't release it until I had actually seen the movie because I had no idea if it was real or not. And like you said, like 98% of it was. I think there was like one or two words I changed to make it more accurate to the actual plot. But yeah, I don't know what was going on the internet back then, but you know, I was able to figure out like the Star Wars movie just based on that.
So how surprised, or like flabbergasted, I should say, that like you got so much of it correct?
I was very thankful. Yeah. If it was completely incorrect, it would have been a lot of wasted effort. But no, I was very happy that it was almost entirely true.
If it wasn't, would you have started over?
I would have had to.
There's always just dropping it, but
Yeah.
thank God that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Weird. My name is Vaughn, and I had a couple questions. First one, what was the main initiating event that got you to create word crimes?
Borderlands was a huge hit. It was sort of inescapable the summer that it came out, and I figured that I had to do something with that song. And you know, we're in a post-YouTube age where like there were already a million Borderlands parody online, but most of those parodies were, you know, kind of about how the song itself was misogynistic and kind of rapey. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do a parody of the song, I've got to kind of think outside the box and do something nobody else has. And I thought, well, nobody's written a song about grammar yet. And that was sort of up my alley because I'm a bit of a grammar nerd. So I thought, okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah, second question. Have you kept up with Dan Arnold and Aaron Hansen any recently?
I'm sorry?
Have you kept up with Dan and Aaron from Game Grumps at all recently?
Oh. I thought you were asking about the group Hanson. No, I didn't. I haven't, we send each other like, Christmas and birthday emails and things like that. I haven't seen them since I recorded that episode, but we remain on very good terms, and maybe I'll be back sometime.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was wondering, being a radio guy, was it easier to write songs when music was actually good? That's what I want. We are very old.
No, I mean, there's always good music, you just have to look for it. But it is a little bit more difficult as a parodist because it's a little bit harder to find songs that everybody knows. Because I talk about this a lot, in the 80s, there was more of a monoculture. Like if it was on MTV and heavy rotation, everybody knew the songs. And now everybody's sort of into their own like sub-genre of music, and they can listen to exactly what they want to listen to, which is good in a way, but I like it when people are exposed to genres and music that they maybe wouldn't ordinarily be exposed to. And, you know, I miss that. It made my job easier, but no complaints.
Next question.
Hi, Mr. Yankovic.
Hello.
So my favorite music video of yours is Song of Begins. To the point where I can't hear American Pie.
Me neither.
So my question for you was, what's your most favorite music video you've worked on in terms of production?
The favorite, sorry?
Most favorite music video.
Probably. Well, it's hard to pick. I would maybe White and Nerdy. I don't know. Tacky was the most fun one to make because that was all done in one take, and it was done with several friends of mine, and we just had fun, and we went through and did 6 takes, and then we were done. I was like, it's over too soon. You guys, hang out. Let's do 20 more takes. But so we had it. Yeah, it's hard to pick. I mean, that was one. Well, yeah, and honestly, I mean, I love them all. It's hard to pick. Sorry. Well, what's your favorite?
A Song of Begins.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Thank you.
What was the hardest production to do?
The hardest production. Let's see. Maybe Spy Hard, because I had to do a lot of singing underwater. So it was tough to give a good performance and do the lip sync correctly and not drown all at the same time.
Thank you.
Billy's listener, first time caller.
Hey,
I don't know, have you ever listened to the commercial they've done about you on Sirius Broadway?
I think probably not. How's it go?
Well, it starts with the guy going, here on Sirius Broadway, we play anything associated with Broadway. In the background is the Hamilton polka.
Oh,
And then he says, we may have to consider that. My question is, are you seriously considering anything on Broadway as a writer, producer, drummer?
yeah. I've been thinking about it for quite some time, and we're just starting. I can't really talk about it, but we're just starting to have discussions about a Weird Al jukebox musical, which. Broadway being Broadway, I probably wait 10 or 20 years before you start looking for that. It'll be a while. Like I said, we're just starting, and it's got a long, long ways to go.
And I do want to thank you for doing things like cheese sandwich and Milo Murphy and crab meatballs, because now my daughters don't think I'm completely crazy. And
Thank you.
they're about the same age as your daughter, and how she
She's so great. My daughter is graduating from college next month. She's graduating. She's all over. But yeah, it's that crazy passage of time, right? Thanks so much.
What was it like killing Pablo Escobar?
He deserved it. What can I tell you?
I've listened to you since 1984. My kindergarten friend, to say he listened to was band. It was the Iggy Moore's album. And I've got my kids. My kids started on. It's all about the Pigeons. I used to blast that for them all the time. My oldest daughter, I got punked on Albuquerque.
Nice.
We both can sing it straight through. I have 2 questions.
Okay.
One, since you have an architecture degree, did you design your own house?
I did not. I thought at that point in my life there were people that were much better at designing houses than I. In fact, I didn't have it designed at all. It was on the market and it looked good and we bought it.
And second question, are you going to be in the new Done movies that you were in the other three?
I will say that the instant that movie was announced, I texted Akiva Schaffer, who's directing the movie, and said, it's not really a Naked Gun movie unless there's a Weird Al cameo, right? So we'll see.
Hi. Hi.
Hello.
So me and my brother have always watched like have seen you in cartoons. Like I've always loved cheese sandwich, and he's loved Gravity Falls and Follow Squall. I just gotta ask, what was your favorite character you voice act?
My favorite character is probably just Weird Al. No, I don't know. I really can't pick. I mean, I love voice acting. It's actually my favorite part about what I do. Just because I don't need to memorize anything. I don't have to shave. You know, you just go into a studio and just have fun and just be the craziest version of yourself. So, you know, I do a lot of it. I like to show up randomly and everything. It's really hard for me to pick like one thing that I've done because they've all been just a joy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Al.
Hello.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I got two questions today.
Okay.
First one is, what's your favorite Pokemon?
Sorry? Estion. I mean it too.
You, James. I'm noted. But the second question is, how do you spell Albuquerque?
ALBU Quirky, of course.
So I have two questions to ask.
Everybody has two questions.
One, have you ever considered making one of your polka songs with your own songs?
I couldn't hear the end of that, sorry.
Polka song with you. Well, could you ever consider it a polka song with your own song?
Oh,
Your like original.
I haven't, although I've seen some people online doing that. So you could probably do a search and find that. But yeah, I haven't done that or really plan to.
I will you be returning in the new seasons of Phineas and Ferb?
He said, will you be returning in the new seasons of Phineas and Ferb?
Oh, we'll see. I'm not allowed to talk about certain things.
Hi, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I had a question about your cameo in the Cybertronic Screams cover of Dare to Be Stupid.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's something they reached out to you for, or did you see them and think, that's cool, and reach out to them? How did that come about?
This was a few years ago, but I believe they reached out to me, and I thought they were a really cool band, and I was really honored that they're doing Dare to Be Stupid, and I think I was on the road somewhere, and they came out to shoot a little bit with it, and I thought it was a fun thing. So yeah, they reached out, and I thought it was great.
Yeah, that's what it was. So imagine my surprise when I see the video and at the very of all the Weird Al impersonators, and at the very end, there you are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so this has got to be, out of all the peoples I've been to, this has got to be the most strangest question I ever asked anybody.
Uh-oh.
But did anybody ever came up to you thinking that you were dead because of that one joke that they heard off of King in the Hill?
I don't think anybody ever came up to me thinking I was dead. But a lot of people, I think a lot of people really, not a lot of people, but I know that some people took the biopic at face value. And, you know, because usually I think, at what point in the movie do you realize the whole thing's a joke? And some people are like, no, I believe the whole thing. So I guess that's the thing about the internet. You know, I've learned a long time about social media. There's no joke you can make that's so ironic and so obviously a joke that somebody's going to go, no, he really meant that. You know, so you always have to be careful with that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You can adjust it if you want to take that.
So, like a lot of people, I have two questions. The first one is, who, like, aside from you, who is your favorite music artist?
Oh, you know, I can't say one favorite music artist because I love so many. I mean, I grew up with, you know, all the big British invasion groups, the Beatles, the Stones, the Kinks, the Who, people like that. I was a big fan of all the new wave in the nineties, Talking Heads, Oingo Boingo, Debo, the B-52s. I like a lot of alternative music. I like anything that's a little quirky, I could, I hate making a laundry list of things I'm into because I'm into a lot, but I just, I try to be a fan of everything to some extent. I mean, there's no music that I hate. I run into some people that like, oh, I really hate this kind of music. Like, it's just music. Like, maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's not like your personal taste, but I don't have any negative feelings toward anything.
And my second question is, did you really spend all your life living in an almost paradise?
Yes, I did.
Greetings, Mr. Weird.
Hello.
I know you for as long as I can remember, and I've been on my own music journey for about 4 years, and you've been one of my biggest inspirations, like just your attitude, your style, everything. I was wanting to ask, where on earth do you get your inspiration for the stuff that you make, and like what songs you pick, and then by extension, how long does it take to actually get like the legal rights and everything to use all that music and parody it?
Mostly I listen to the voices in my head. No, I don't know. I mean, nobody knows where like ideas come from. I mean, a thought just occurred to me. I think, oh, that would be funny. And then instead of immediately writing the song, then we start the legal process of having my peeps talk to their peeps and try to figure out if they'd be open to it. Because I don't want to like spend a lot of time writing or certainly not recording a song if we don't know that the artist is going to be cool with it. And it happens so infrequently. It's actually very rare, but it would be a really real drag if I had all that wasted effort. So once I have an idea, a basic high concept of what I want to do, my manager reach out and see if it's okay. And sometimes it's a very quick answer, and sometimes it drags on for months, which is very frustrating because sometimes it's been up to me to like actually stalk that artist and find out, and get a yes or no, but just get some kind of answer. So that's sort of the bane of my existence is like that process of like trying to get the artist to sign off on it. Again, sometimes they're very cool and sometimes they're very into it, and sometimes the most frustrating is just not being able to get an answer.
Thank you.
When you interviewed Paul McCartney, how was the experience? Like, how did you get the opportunity? How was the experience? And if you could have interviewed any of the other Beatles, who would have been?
I'm not sure if this is tongue in cheek, and this might be a spoiler, but all those interviews I did were fake. Those are fake interviews, like online when I'm interviewing Eminem or Paul McCartney or whoever it is. It's real interviews that they did with somebody else, and I just cut it up, and asked my own questions, and made it look like I was talking to them. I'm devastated. But Paul was great. He was amazing. My favorite Beatle, for sure.
If you could have interviewed any of them, who would you have interviewed?
Oh, well, I did get to meet Paul. I mean, not for that interview, but I got to meet him for some other thing that I actually got to direct Paul McCartney. He did a little cameo bit in a 3D movie that I made called Weird Al's Brain in 3D, which played at the Orange County Fair and the Puyallup Fair in Western Washington. So I can say that I've worked with Paul. So I probably have to say Paul would be my number one. I love George. I love them all, but George Harrison would be a close number two. I'm friends with his family, and he was a genius and a really cool guy. I never got to meet George, unfortunately, but the Beatles have always been a huge inspiration.
Thank you. You made the parody of Smells Like Teen Spirit. What was writing that like?
I said that when you were doing the parody of Smells Like Teen Spirit, what was it like? What did you kind of get that? I guess like the inspiration for that song.
Well, it's sort of like the idea was almost given to me on a silver platter because when Nirvana's song was number one in the charts, there were all these people on MTV and news programs and the media saying, these kids got this song on the radio. I can't understand what they're talking about. So I kind of did the like the old man version of like these kids today with their rock and roll, they're mumbling their lyrics. So I just thought, oh well, I love Nirvana, but that's kind of a funny comic angle. So I wrote it based on that. In fact, when I got to talk to Kurt Cobain on the phone and to get his permission, and he thought that was a funny idea. So once I had his blessing, I didn't feel so bad about it.
Did you ever have any artists that, once you did a parody of them, they were kind of like, they felt like they'd arrived? Like that was kind of like
All of them, all of them. They knew.
Hello.
Hello.
So do you ever get stuck when you're writing music? And how do you get unstuck from it?
Yeah, I mean, writer's block, that's a common thing, and sometimes, sometimes it takes me a long time to write songs. When I first started out, I would write things very quickly because I didn't think, these are going to be following me the rest of my life. I just thought, oh, here's a silly little song I can play in the Dr. Demento show tonight. But now, like, I would spend, minimum of a week or sometimes months working on a single song. So yeah, it was something that, when I came to realize that people actually cared about what I did and that I might be playing some of these songs on stage, like for decades afterwards, it behooved me to put a lot more care and effort into it.
That's all I had to ask, so thank you.
Thank you. Oh, hello.
Hey, welcome to Huntsville. It's nice to see you. Hey, as a kid, I remember seeing you on 2 episodes of Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Uh-huh.
And I thought I found a YouTube video of it, but I remember seeing this on the Disney Channel, Weird Al Yankovic, There's No Going Home.
Right.
And I recently watched the movie UHF. By the way, what does it stand for?
Ultra high frequency.
Oh, is that right? I also remember seeing you on an interview on CBS News Sunday Morning. And the character Chief Sandwich, he's a caricature of you, right?
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, because he's got your hair and he plays the
Accordion.
yes, that's right. And I've been listening to your songs on the YouTube app, but did you do parodies of Beatles songs at all?
I did a parody of a Taxman called Pac-Man in like 81 or 82, before I had a record deal. And again, it was just something that I did for fun on the Dr. Demento show. And I think Dr. Demento heard from the Beatles attorneys saying, like, this was never cleared, and we prefer that you not play this on the radio anymore. But later, like decades later, I became friends with George's son, Danny Harrison. And I said, I wrote this song like in 1982. Can I put this on my box set? And he said, oh, of course, sure. So Pac-Man actually got finally an official release when the Squeeze box set came out. And you can find it online, obviously. But yeah, so it finally did get an official release.
Do you plan to do any more Beatles song parodies, like for example on Let It Be or Hey Jude?
You never know. I mean, if the right subject matter came up, I wouldn't rule that out entirely. So we'll see.
And by the way, if the song Lasagna parody of Obama, do you realize that's the kind of song that Garfield would love to hear because
Oh,
he loves lasagna?
He also does not like Mondays.
Yeah, that's true, but just pointing that out.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. So you're gonna go to, Richie Valens is here, right? The real actor is here. So you'll go up and Lou Diamond Phillips is here. So that'll be maybe a good moment for you to go and check out with him. All right, next question.
Hey, Mr. Al, my name's Dakota, sir.
Hello.
This is actually my first time being on a mic here.
You're doing great.
I don't really know how many questions to kind of ask. I kind of, most people don't know I have special needs, and I kind of only been here twice, and I'm seeing kind of really nice people in this building. I kind of wanted to hope I can feel safe in a place like this, and
You're safe here.
I also never heard someone mention, but I did listen to some of your songs, sir, and particularly one, Weasel Stomping Day.
Uh-huh.
And my two friends, one's right there, Justin, sir, and Alex. we love it.
Oh, thank you.
I also don't want to say thanks to Germany for making this event for us.
Yes, thank you so much.
For making people, like special needs people, can feel safe.
Yeah.
It's kind of built.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Phoenix. I've been a fan of you since I was a kid. It may not be as long as some of you other people, but I'm really a fan of Anyways, I wanted to ask about the show Milo is Murphy, Murphy's Law. Are there, what happened to it? Like, why did it get canceled, or is there?
You know, it never got canceled, but they just hadn't renewed it for 13 years. So that's the true thing. I mean, Disney never told Dennis Lump your show's canceled. It just never got picked up. So I guess there's a world in which Disney could say, okay, we'll do a third season, but I'm not going to count on that.
Well, I just wanted to say you do amazing work, and your parodies are great.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
That's all I have to say. Hey, what would you say is the silliest source of inspiration for one of your songs?
Silliest source of inspiration?
Yeah,
Oh, gosh.
A funny story, something that you would never expect a song to come out of.
Yeah, I don't know how many songs were like inspired by actual events in my life or anything silly. Did you have something in mind? Are you wondering if like some song was inspired by something?
No, there is one song I'm curious about. What's the hardware store that y'all hardware store made?
Probably my local hardware store, Coons Hardware on Santa Monica Boulevard in LA.
That kind of stock must be good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. So it is well known that you are well known. You are known for being yourself. And it's more, you're more recognizable than some other people because you're not hitting on any character. But how is it when you are? Because I know mostly that you play yourself, but sometimes you can or you don't. How is that like?
You mean for like voice acting stuff? Yeah, I enjoy any kind of job that I get. It's, you know, I like doing characters. It's more fun for me in a way to, you know, disappear and be something else. But even when I'm doing characters, for some reason, a lot of those characters have curly hair and play the accordion. You know, which is it's all fine. I mean, I know to some extent it is probably some stunt casting to get me in something. But I love doing it, and I'm happy for any time when somebody wants me in one of their projects.
Okay, second question, much less serious. Probably my first ever introduction for you was My Little Pony. Who is your favorite My Little Pony, other than yourself, of course? Who is your favorite other than yourself?
Well, then I guess I have to say thank you, bye.
I just wanted to ask how's your day going?
I'm sorry?
How's your day going?
Oh, it's going well, yourself.
One question and one request. So the first question, it actually comes from my brother. We used to listen to you all the time when we were younger. And so I asked him if you could ask for anything, what would you say? And he said, how did he become so awesome? So I'll embellish because that's a little bit. My question is, how did you know that music was going to be your calling, specifically like creative parody music? Was it at a younger age, or did you feel that, like, did it just get an epiphany and you suddenly knew it was yours? Or how did that come?
I think I get the gist of that. I don't know when I thought I was getting good at it, maybe like last year. I've been writing parodies since I was a small kid. I remember like when I was 8 years old, I had an accordion songbook when I was taking lessons, like, rock hits of the 60s. And I go through the book and it had all the lyrics, and I would just for fun, just like change the lyrics around on the music sheets just to amuse my friends. So it's something that I'd always done. And when I started sending in tapes to Dr. Demento in my early teens, I kept sending in, parodies and things like that. So I guess I got better over the years. I put in my 10,000 hours and got to the point where people actually liked what I was doing. And I think when I first started out on the Dr. Demento show, I would send in songs and he put them on the radio, and then I would call up on the phone and change my voice, like, yeah, play that Weird Al song. And I think my balloon was the first time when it was sort of like people other than me were calling the request line and going, oh yeah, play that Weird Al song. So maybe about that time I realized that maybe I was getting better at it.
Okay, so my one request. My brother was actually supposed to be here today and he failed his work. Can you look at my husband right there and say, Robert, you suck?
Robert, you suck.
And I was gonna let you guys know we got time for 2 more questions. So I hated on everybody in the back of the line there. I apologize. But
That's a real bummer, I had 37. To narrow it down to one, I guess, a buddy of mine paraphrased Paul McCartney and said that, which keeps coming up tonight, I guess. Basically, Paul McCartney has never had a bad day in his life because everybody he meets is having the best day of their life. And with like the impact that you've had on the world and their lives and everything, I'm kind of a lifelong fan, and seeing you, an unexpected cameo, for instance, in Wet Hot American Summer, blew my mind. And it was just very meaningful to me, I guess, to watch your career, I guess, as I've grown, So what is it like to have that kind of impact on the world and the people in it and their lives?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I'm well aware that, in a place like this, if you only meet me for 10, 15 seconds, or whatever, I want to make sure that I'm being the best version of myself. Because I had experiences when I was a small child, going to people for autographs, and I forget who it was. It was like some race car driver, and I wasn't even that into race car driving, but I got his autograph, and he was like, "Oh, there you go, kid, whatever." And it was just a short interaction, but that's something I remember my entire life. And I'm thinking impressions are important. And when you're meeting the general public, you just don't want to be a jerk. You want to be the best version of yourself. And even if you're tired, you're not feeling well, or if you're preoccupied, you don't want to let that come through. You just want to, make it a pleasant experience for everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
What was it like
for being inside John Hamm?
I'm sorry?
What was it like being inside John Hamm?
It was comfy. Yeah.
That's good.
Hi, Al. I want to first off thank you for the cover that you did with Will Forte of Hot to Go. I am a really big Chapel Roan fan, which is why I have this question. What Chapel Roan song would you cover and why?
Well, it depends. I'd have to come up with a funny enough idea for it. But I mean, she's got several songs that would be good candidates. I would have to, if this is a real question, I would have to really sit down and think of every single possible comedic option and then figure out which one was the funniest. So I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head, but she's got several great songs that would be, good fodder for parody.
Thank you so much.
Hi, so I've been watching a lot of The Simpsons lately, and there was an episode that you were on where at the end of it, you sang a parody of Jack and Diane, but it was about Homer and Marge. I was just wondering, how much of that was you, and how much, or was it like the Simpsons writers wrote it for you and were like, hey, can we get Weird Al to sing this? It sounds like something he would do.
Yeah, oddly enough, I did do a I did do a parody of Jack and Diane in the early '80s, which never got approved by John Cougar Mellencamp because he said, I don't want to approve this parody because we're working on a Jack and Diane movie, and I don't want to complicate the deal. So that movie hasn't come out yet. I guess he's still working on it. But to answer your question, the Simpsons writers wrote all of that. They write in the house, and they're brilliant. So it's not like I'm gonna just say no. I'm gonna write my own parody. I thought it was great, and they always do wonderful things. So I was very happy to do it as written.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so let's real quick. Before I want to say something really quick. So when I started doing this with Jeremy, I know I'm not going to say who's here, but 10 years ago when this was in the JC's building, I remember him talking to me about what his dream and his vision of this whole thing. It's just amazing to me to see this many people in Huntsville that continue to grow. So thank you guys for supporting this stuff, because without you, it doesn't get bigger and better every single year. Okay, so that's for you guys. And then for you, sir, thank you for taking your time, being who you are, and impacting so many of us in so many ways. So keep going on. I can't wait to see the Broadway show. It's going to be amazing. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
So I'm just gonna say real quick, Al's gonna head over, he's got photo ops at 7, so if you pre-bought one or you need to go buy one, your own gift.
Alright, get out of it. Yeah. Great having a seat in front, sucks getting out though.
Yes, ma'am.
Complete nerve authority.